if your goal is weight loss or fat loss for 2022, here are some of the most successful fat loss habits you can adopt. Number 1, be aware of how much food you're eating, or more so, how much calories you're consuming. A big mistake a lot of people make, particularly in the new year when it comes to weight loss or fat loss, is not being aware of the amount of calories they're consuming in their food. Now, that's not to confuse caloric quantity, the amount of calories in food, versus food quantity, which is the amount of food you're eating. For example, you can eat a lot of calories but not have a lot of food. Think going to McDonald's 3 times a day. It's a lot of calories, but not necessarily that much food. On the flip and the reverse of that, you can have a lot of food and not a lot of calories. Think of a plant-based diet where you're eating a lot of vegetables. Loads of food, not that many calories. So one of the most successful fat loss habits you can adopt is being aware of how much you're eating and how much calories you're consuming. And you can do this in a couple of ways. You can use an app like MyFitnessPal. You can use a food diary to track your food, or you can just do it by eye. The general rule of thumb is the more important the goal, the more rigid your tracking metric should be. I.e., if you're really serious about your fat loss goal, use an app to track it. If you just want to look a little bit better, then do it by eye, or even keep a food diary, which isn't as stressful as tracking with an app. It's about finding what works best for you based on the priority of the goal. Number 2, eat similar-ish foods each day. Now, this isn't to be confused with eat a boring meal plan of chicken, rice, and broccoli every single day. That's a terrible long-term strategy for fat loss, unless you're a competitive bodybuilder or a professional bikini model, or even a pro athlete. But for general fat loss, that's not going to work. But what can work is eating similar-ish foods. My personal preference is nutrient-dense whole foods. So when I'm talking similar-ish foods, I'm talking meat, fish, eggs for your protein source, quinoa, sweet potatoes, rice for your carbohydrate source, unlimited vegetables and fruits, and avocado, olive oil, or nut butters for your fat source. You're eating similar-ish foods each day. If you're someone who likes to put your eating on automatic, find a food plan that works for you and just eat the same every single day. If you get bored easily, then find and experiment with different recipes that can help you stay on plan. And everything in between will work based on your personality type. So experiment and find what works best for you. 3, prioritize sleep quality. When it comes to fat loss, it's useful to see nutrition and sleep as 2 of the most important bedrocks to any plan. True, it's easy to throw working out or training up there, but they're significantly less important on a fat loss journey than nutrition and sleep. So prioritize your sleep quality. How can you do that? Well, there's a couple of ways. Focus on your quality of sleep versus your quantity of sleep. 6 hours or 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep is going to be way better than 9 hours of broken sleep. 2, look into your routine. Do you have some form of sleep routine? There's a good chance if you're on a fat loss plan, you're not just randomly working out every day or randomly eating what you want every day, but you could be randomly sleeping whenever you feel tired. That's not the best approach when it comes to prioritizing sleep quality. You need to have a routine and a plan. Going to bed the same time every night, getting up at a similar time each morning, prioritizing that quality of sleep, and then maybe looking into some potential supplements that might help you. There's a full chapter on this in my book, The Keen Edge, Mastering Your Mindset for Lasting Fat Loss. 4, make mental notes of how much you drank. Now this one's going to sound super obvious, but if you're dehydrated, you're not going to be optimizing fat loss. Your body is a basic survival mechanism. Its job isn't to make you look awesome and sexy. Its job is to keep you alive. So if you're dehydrated and not consuming enough water, your body's not going to be primed to utilize fat for fuel. Not to mention dehydration will lead you to moving around less, which will further reduce your NEAT activity, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, where you're burning calories through the day. So stay on top of your water. Again, how much you need in quantity varies person to person, very similar to sleep. But a good rule of thumb is check the color of your pee. If it's clear, you're probably hydrated. And you'll know yourself. If you haven't drank anything in 6 or 7 hours and you've been running around, there's a good chance you're dehydrated. So carry a water bottle with you. Systems over willpower when it comes to hydration. 5, schedule workouts like meetings. This is another one that will probably sound quite obvious, but what gets measured gets managed. And if you find that you're someone who's skipping workouts regularly, you might want to schedule them like you would a work meeting, i.e. morning workout or afternoon or lunchtime workout or evening workout. That becomes a non-negotiable. It's a time that you committed that you are going to work out regardless of how you feel. Remember, successful people do what they have to do regardless of how they feel. Your workouts are exactly the same. So schedule them like you would a meeting based on what works best for your lifestyle. Number 6, get back on track after a free meal. Probably the most popular chapter in my book, The Keen Edge, Mastering the Mindset for Real Lasting Fat Loss, is that on self-sabotage. And one of the ways you get around self-sabotage is 1, not pressing the fuck up button with your food, i.e. you don't let 2 biscuits turn into half a packet, or you don't let a bad day of eating turn into 2 bad days. Think of Saturday falling off track and then not starting back until Monday, but also resetting if you do, i.e. you get back on track after a free meal. To be successful with any nutritional plan, you need to factor in your favorite foods, a chocolate bar, packets of crisps, some alcohol, What is it that you need to include that will help you stay on plan? So for me, I have to factor in a little bit every day, but it also means that I don't press the fuck it button with it. I don't let one bar turn into 10, or I don't let one day of eating turn into 2. And I don't wait until the myth of Magic Monday to start back. I have my free meal every Saturday night normally for me, and then I go back on plan on Sunday. And I do something very similar with my clients and my programs. So if there's only one successful fat loss habit that you adopt here, let it be this one. Get back on track after a free meal and factor that free meal into your plan every week or a small bit every day. Remember, to lose fat, you need to be in an overall caloric deficit. You can do that by having a chocolate bar every day in a calorie control plan, or you can do that by keeping calories a little bit lower and then having more flexibility at the weekend. It's about finding what works best for you. So there you have it, some successful fat loss habits that can help you hit your weight or fat loss target in 2022. As always, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe for videos coming each and every week.